Hey guys, my name's Ravi Sharma and I'm the founder and buyer's agent here at Search Property. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another episode of Search Property TV. If you're new here, please smash the subscribe button. I'm talking about property, I'm talking about passive income and financial independence. I've also just created my private Facebook group. There's free access for a limited time, so please join. It's about building a community together, right? We're talking about everything that we're talking about on the channel, but now I'm bringing it over to you guys. Create a forum, create a community so we can talk about this stuff even more. So I've got Jason on today. He's a fellow YouTuber in Australia. He's based on the Gold Coast, and so a lot of the stuff we talk about is related to Australia, so it's great because you guys can take advantage of what he talks about on his channel. I've left a link in the description to his channel, so make sure to subscribe. He talks about stocks, shares, financial independence, and also cryptocurrency and metal trading, so things like gold and silver. And so everything I don't know, I usually rely on him and I watch his videos. So if you're interested in that sort of content, then be sure to subscribe to his channel. Obviously, come on to watch this video all the way through. We talk about how to get started as a beginner. And so I think we can bring a lot of value to you, so keep watching. Guys, it's awesome to have Jason finally on the channel. Welcome, Jason. I've obviously given my audience a little bit about your channel and about yourself, but I want to hear it from you. Give us some context for the audience.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Ravi. I've wanted to come on the channel for a while because property is such an interest of mine. It's where I started, although now I'm doing a lot of trading in cryptocurrency and stocks. I've also gotten through the metal space through my SMSF. So I've really touched on a lot of levels, but I did start in the property space. Now I'm just trading. It's the space that I came through from 2010. And I really enjoy the cryptocurrency space, but you can apply trading to both stock market and the cryptocurrency market. That's pretty much my last 10 years, man. My last 15 years, actually. Yeah.
And how old are you? You're really young. You look really young. So when did you get started in all of this?
I think it's my webcam and my lighting here, but I started, I'm 34. I'll be 35 in few months, actually. 35 in 2021. Nice. I started when I was 19, bought my first when I was 20. So that was 2006. I was 19. I started as a property manager. So yeah, I was 20 in 2006 as well. It was when I bought my first property in Brisbane, and then my second one the following year on next to no money. I was a property manager earning like $28,000 a year in 2006 before the GFC. Wow. Yeah, 28K, man. There's not much money back then. But I was in Inner Brisbane, and Inner Brisbane was pumping. It pumps towards the end of that cycle. So I didn't do too bad with a property in Cooperoo, and then I bought the next one in Camp Hill. Yeah, that's pretty much my age and my first property investments leading into the stock market and cryptocurrency.
Yeah, wow. Now, obviously, I think we could talk for hours amongst ourselves and we get along quite well, but I think I really want to bring some value to the audience, right? So
sure.
I guess a lot of questions that I get asked from people is, where do we start with shares? People quite often find it very confusing sometimes. And then there's so many people saying there's this growing and Afterpay and whatnot. So
you'd have to start with opening a brokerage account. So you can't buy any stocks unless you open a brokerage account for yourself in your name. That's stuff like the ComSec apps. NAB Trade has their own. ANZ Self Wealth is another good one, which isn't part of the major four banks. So that's another app. They have the cheapest brokerage fees at $9.50. And that would be the place you'd have to be able to buy. So with property, obviously you have to go to a real estate agent and buy property, or you can go around to the owners yourselves and put some letters in the letterboxes and try and figure out how to buy property like that.
Yep.
The difference I would see, so that's the first thing. You have to obviously have a bank account, but how do you figure out what it is you want to buy? And I kind of look at it like property. I would look in particular areas and I would start to research those areas, and that's the fundamental background of that area. Then I want to do the technical analysis on it and understand, is now a good time to buy, or should I wait to buy this stock? So I'm trying to, create the two together and just give you some sort of property examples to do with the stocks. Stop me at any time or ask some more clarification. Yep.
And I guess, what I think a lot of people don't realize is that whether it's shares or whether it's property, research is the backbone of it, right? It's not just, I can read some media headlines and go, I'll just go buy that. There's a bit more thought process, right?
Yeah, and with stocks, it's so much easier to do that because they're cheaper. It's easier to get in. It's easier to get out. It's easier to lose money. Easier to make money. But with property,
Yep.
you can't do that. Like you can't be going in and out of stuff. You really have to do your research before you get into something. You know, because the barriers in property are the time it takes to do all this stuff, the money it takes, and then to get out the same deal, time and money again. But stocks so easy to get burnt, and you hear it online all the time. You know, people just let's jump into Afterpay. Let's jump into the buy now, pay it later sector. Let's jump into the next thing that's pumping. You know, it's way too easy for people.
I think I fall into that category. I mean, I've had very little experience when it comes to shares. And I sort of fell victim to last year, everyone going buy now, pay later stocks. And I thought, yeah, all right, I'll chuck a few dollars there. And I did make some money, but I realized that, you know, for me, I need to stick to what I know. And if I don't know those things, I need to get an expert on my side to actually know what I'm doing, because you could lose a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. If you're buying on leverage, you know, you could lose it all. If you're not buying on leverage and you're just, you know, buying the outright stock, then, you know, your stock could go to zero, but it's probably not likely, but you could still lose a lot of money in that way. So for the beginners,
Yep.
really start to understand what it is you are trying to do in the market. Are you looking for growth and you want to sort of make these big gains? If that's the case, then you need to understand what fundamental analysis is, and you need to understand what technical analysis is, because the growth can be split up into primarily it's going to be the stocks that are going to move big quickly, and that's going to need a lot of fundamental research because they might just be IPOing, meaning they're just coming out into the market. Maybe they've been in construction phase for a long time, you know, in development, and they're not doing anything. They're just sitting around a particular price for many, many years, and then they take off, at which time sometimes, in often cases for new people, it's too late. So for beginners, really get the fundamental and the technical analysis on your side. Start with basics so that it's not too scary to get into. Look at support and resistance levels, and then understand your plan. I'm buying at this level. I have this stop loss in place in case it goes against me, and I'm going to get out at this profit target, regardless of if the market continues to go up. Making profits, you'll never go broke.
So I guess, I mean, I know that you've thrown a lot out there, and there's some parts that even I don't understand, right? So I want to clarify again, just bringing value to the audience.
No, that's cool.
I guess
clarify.
Where would be the best place, I mean, apart from your channel, to learn the basics of this? Get some money in there and then start learning. What's your process?
I'd say both of those things. I did go somewhere to start learning. I paid a lot of money for these courses, tens of thousands of dollars, but you don't have to do that. This was 10, 15 years ago before it was a thing online. So you can look for a lot of this stuff online. Essentially, if you've got some background in property, use the same principles that you've used there and bring it across. It's like, I'm going to invest X amount of money, and I need to know what it is I'm doing with this money and what risk I'm willing to take, and then what area I'm looking to get out. So that comes to the learning side of things. So if I can keep clarifying on that, or, you know, break it down a little bit more. Just
no, I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good, because even with, say, something like property, it's very similar. Like 10 years ago, you had to go to a property seminar, pay $10,000 to, you know, attend, and you get 2 days to learn everything you could. But now we're in a point where we can, you know, go onto YouTube. There's great people out there talking about it, and I guess that's part of the fundamental learning process, right? I guess in terms of where we're at the moment, people are scared. There's so much uncertainty, right? You know, pandemic, recession, everyone's saying that, you know, unemployment's gone through the roof. Why are we, in your opinion, seeing, you know, the share market and the property market be so resilient? What's your thoughts on it?
I guess this is another thing that we both connect on, and we look at cycles as opposed to the hyper sensationalized news, all of the data and the figures, which is just there to confuse people. That's why it's a lot in fundamental analysis as well. And I think a lot of that is very confusing. But looking at the cycles, that's why I don't think we're in some part of a major crash. It's the mid-cycle slowdown, which you've talked about on many of your videos. I've got on several of my videos how to understand the cycle. And this is the time in the market where it shakes out the weak hands before we take off for the next stage of the cycle. Yeah.
It's almost that, you know, like I hate to say it even on my channel, but I'm going, guys, you need to look beneath what these media headlines look like. You know, they're trying to
Yeah.
get some views. That's their job. But if you're taking this seriously and you're putting your hard-earned money in this, it pays to actually either get yourself an expert and leverage their expertise, or you need to start learning the fundamentals, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Look, it comes down to learning. We all want an easy answer, right? Like, I've got my book somewhere, The Secret Life of Real Estate and Banking. You can probably see in the corner there. You probably read Phil Anderson's book too. It To really feel comfortable with your money, you have to do the research. You have to learn for yourself. Even listening to guys online, it's like a great place to start, but then go and use those resources and learn it for yourself, because that's the only way you're really going to bring on the knowledge and feel comfortable when you go to make those trades or buy those properties, and then know what you're doing with it later on.
The main part that I always say as well is, it's all well and good that you can consume this information, watch our videos, go on your channel, go on my channel, whatever. It ultimately comes down to putting that into action, right? And I obviously tell a lot of people to, book in strategy sessions to chat with me, but it's the same thing in your world, right? It's until you take that action and execute, it doesn't really mean much.
Exactly. And I guess I want to leave it just, be a little bit, as much value as we can add. We've just talked about, go and do your research. But look, at the end of the day, it really just comes down to doing that research. I know we've said it so many times, but the plan is the thing that's going to make us feel more at ease when it comes to that. So, we're talking about trading, like where do we start? Brokerages. You can look at people online. We can start to create what it is that we actually want to take action on when it comes to our stocks or our cryptocurrencies. Before we go, did you want to chat a little bit about cryptos, metals, and how all this works into the plan?
I can get into shares, but then there's also gold and silver, and then there's cryptocurrency, Bitcoin and things like that. So I guess in a nutshell, are you able to sort of break down each one and, where's your preference at the moment, or are you diversifying across them?
Yeah, I guess my preferences are with cryptocurrency because I like the ease and the flexibility of the space, and I like the growth factor as well. Stocks, not so much, especially Australian stocks. I don't like them as a long-term investment because I don't see the market as being that big. Like you're a small fish in a small pond here, whereas the US market, you've got a lot more. There's more liquidity, there's more volume, there's more money over there that you can grow, and there's more scalable products. Not saying you can't do it here, but I think there's a lot more work to be done in Australia. So cryptocurrency, again, is international. US markets, international. You've got more money, you've got more scaling, more growth. And I like those for a portfolio because at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want growth. And then we can start to diversify some of those profits into dividends, into stuff that's going to be paying us out regularly. So we take those profits and move them into stocks or cryptos. Cryptos can earn you money as well. You stake them, which earns you what is called a staking reward, which is essentially the same as a dividend. So I know I'm bringing up a lot of different terms at the moment, but there's a lot of things to look at when it comes to building our portfolios. Where I see metals fit into that is just like a long-term store of value, which is what we know gold for. But I would go for something like silver because it has bigger growth potential than gold. It's a smaller market cap. There's less money there. Therefore, the market has the potential to move in greater gains to the upside. But, you've got to be wary that it could happen to the downside as well.
Yeah, no, that was a good summary, man. I know I threw you under the bus there with a little quick nutshell there. But I think, everyone watching at the moment as well, and I think there's so much there. Obviously, one video doesn't do it justice when we're talking about either shares, property, or anything else, right? And I guess it's a good starting point for anyone that wants to sort of start learning about those things. We've got Jason here. He's based on the Gold Coast, right? A good part of the world. Yeah. So it's, I've got all these links in the bio down below. But essentially, I wanted to thank you on behalf of my audience.
Thank you.
Because I've got so many people that ask me about this stuff, and I go, look, one thing I've definitely committed to is saying I will only talk about things I know, and stuff I don't know, I need to now leverage the expertise of other people. So it's awesome to have you on the channel, man.
Likewise, thank you very much. And I know we didn't go into very much detail on trading stocks and shares and whatnot, but I think it's important to get started, organize your plan. And then obviously on my channel, I go through a lot of technical analysis when it comes to these individual stocks and cryptocurrencies, understanding good buy areas, what to do, when the markets go crazy and sell areas. So that's kind of the scope for another video, but I think it's good just to talk about it. I really appreciated being on, and I'm glad we connected on so many levels when it comes to cycles and building our portfolio. So thank you very much, guys. Links.
Yeah, nah, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. Thanks, mate.
No problems. Peace out. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, guys. That's a wrap. We finished up. Jason's an awesome guy. I talked to him offline quite a bit. And so we finally got a chance to get him on the channel, which is awesome. His channel's obviously got more than 30,000 subscribers, which is awesome. And a lot of the stuff he talks about in depth, which we couldn't really cover in this talk, you can obviously find on his channel. But if you are interested in learning more about shares, and if that's something that you want us to talk more about, and the relationship between Australian shares and Australian property market, then be sure to, one, leave a thumbs up, but also comment down below. And again, a reminder for two things. One, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm bringing out videos every single week, 3 to 5 new videos, so you're getting ahead and breaking down what these media headlines look like, so you're getting your upgrade in financial literacy. And to top it all off, I've created a private Facebook group. It's personal finance and Australian real estate tips. So it's not just about Australian property, it's about getting passive income, financial independence, and leading a life of financial choice. So be sure to go into that. It's free access at the moment. There's a link in the description below. I want to see you on the inside. And again, it's about creating a community, because what we're doing is the 1% of the 1%. And so when we talk to our friends, our family, they may not understand. And to now have a collective group of people that can talk to you, that can support you through this, and of course you can ask questions, it's an amazing place to be. So be sure to join me on there, and I'll catch you guys all in the next video. Thanks, guys.